guys enjoy the first panel group that we did? Can anyone tell me one thing that they took away from that? Y'all can raise your hands if you know. Don't be shy. We got somebody back here? Okay.
So one thing that I really like, which is very cliche, but she said trust your process and love your process, because it's like, as an entrepreneur, it's just so hard when I'm just trying, and it's like seeing other people and their businesses are doing this, that, and the third, when you really don't know what they had to go through to get there. So I just gotta trust my process and understand that my time will come.
Anybody else? Take one more.
It is vitally important to remember that not all money is good money, so it's okay to pass up some of those contracts, okay?
All right, so now if y'all didn't hear that the first time, y'all heard it again, so y'all can go ahead and write it down. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our next panel, Miss Tiffany Davis and Miss Ayana Walker.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when we're together. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
Come on, join me, guys. So this panel may be a little bit goofier. I have actually known them for some years. So introduce yourselves. The mic's right here.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, we're gonna get it together.
Press it.
All right, can you hear me now? Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, my name is Tiffany Davis, and I am a rocket scientist.
Hi everybody, I'm Ayana Walker and I'm a sports programming ambassador at the St. James.
Good. So, as I said, this panel is very important for just uplifting women in general. I did not just want to have business owners on this panel because a lot of people think that in order for you to be a boss, you have to own a business. That is absolutely not true. These two ladies are clear examples that you can be a boss in your own career field. So I mean, aerospace engineer, and then we have a sportsman, like come on now. And like that is a very much so men-oriented field. And so to have both of you ladies here, I'm so happy to be sitting next to you. So if you can just give us a little introduction to what got you both into your career fields.
So for me, I've always been very much interested in math and science and really just understanding how things work, whether or not my parents knew it or not. But I used to take apart my Game Boys and put them back together. They didn't work. I just left that out and then let them know. But I was always just interested in the process of problem solving and critical thinking. So for me, STEM and engineering just came naturally to me. And I also was very interested in astronomy and studying the stars and where do we come from and those types of questions. So for me, it just kind of all blended together to make aerospace engineering make sense for my life.
So me, I played basketball, ran track, high school when I was younger. That's how I know Tiffany and Joy actually. And sports has always been a part of my life. I never wanted to do the girly things. I always wanted to be into boy sports. And when I was about to go to college, I was pretty much like, I don't necessarily know what I want to do. And sports was a natural thing for me. I always wanted to watch ESPN. I never wanted to really watch cartoons. And when I got to college, that's when I knew, hey, I've been in sports, I've played the sports, but I also know the business side. So how can I incorporate that into my everyday life? So when I got to school, I was pretty much like, this is what I'm gonna do. So I decided to be a sports management major. And just seeing all the men in my classes was a really big jump for me. So in that being said, I pretty much was like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna show that, you know, women can be in sports.
So fun fact, this is a WCAC panel right here. I know there's a lot of, I know there's a lot of WCAC people in here.
Shout out to St. John's.
Well, shout out to Seton, because I know. Y'all went a little dry, I know there's more Seton people in here. So, and then we also, Ayana and I went to St. John's University together in New York as well. So, just to give you a little bit of an example how we know each other. And we play basketball. If y'all did not know that was a fun fact, I did play basketball. So, first off, what struggles do you face being a woman in your field?
So for me, that is a everyday challenge, and it started as early as middle school, where there were guys in my class saying like, ew, like you like math, that's for boys, like you shouldn't like that. So it's something that's always followed me, and it's something that's a part of my industry, and it's very present every day. To go into a quick story, when I first saw the movie Hidden Figures, it was a very, very bittersweet moment for me. It was sweet in the fact that I got to see these pioneers in my field that looked like me, that of course I didn't learn about in history, but it was also bitter because I still struggle with some of those same challenges. I still go to work and have to find the girls' bathroom, or what floor is the girls' bathroom on, because it's not a girls' bathroom on every floor. Or I still get mansplained to, or I ask like, hey, are you here to take notes? So that's something I struggle with every day, but it's also something that makes me powerful in that I know that I'm the only one in the room that can bring the unique perspective of a woman, or as a black woman, or as a black person. So it is empowering for me because I know that I am unique and special, and I have a little special sauce that no one else in the room has, you know.
I would definitely say so.
Mine is pretty much kind of the same as Tiffany's. I'm in a male-dominated industry. There aren't a lot of women in sports that you see. Agent Nicole Lynn, she just signed the #2 draft pick this past year. There are 900 agents in total for sports. 1% of those are women, less than 1% are black women. So sports in general is not something, women in sports is not something that you see on a day-to-day. So the last job, I used to work for the Washington Redskins, and on that team there was only 2 women, and it was both black women. And that was very, very hard because we're working with predominantly white men. And you always have to prove yourself. You always have to go the extra mile. You always have to do jobs that are not, it's not something that you're going to do. You're always doing somebody else's job, but you always have to put yourself out there. So that's definitely like the biggest struggle for me, is just I always have to take the extra mile. Men don't have to in my field at all.
So you kind of answered a bit of a question that I was going to ask next. As a female, have you found yourself doing more work as others on your team but not reaping the benefits, and how did you handle it?
I definitely think that's true, and it's not even that I do more work, is the work I do isn't heard or isn't as valued as much. So I found myself restating what I said before already, before someone else tries to steal that idea and claim it for themselves. Or, I found myself, definitely trying to sign my name on everything so everyone knows that it's my work. So it's definitely like I have to put myself out there and prove myself more, where someone else can kind of just show up for work and be ready,
Yeah, definitely have to do way more work. A whole lot of work. I'm always doing somebody else's job. I'm always fixing somebody else's stuff. If something looks wrong, I definitely take initiative to just go ahead and fix it myself. Because why not? Honestly, if I don't do it, it's not gonna get done. And that's something that I definitely try to strive to do all the time. If I have to do my job way better than everybody else. If I don't really care about the recognition. I'm not one to put myself out there in any way, shape, or form. So this is a lie, but because I just get satisfaction from what other people see, like from fans, from spectators. That is the kind of stuff that makes me happy. If I have to do my job extra, so be it. But I hang back in the spotlight for the most part.
Go ahead.
And just to make one more point on that, I feel the same way because sometimes I really don't have the energy. I'm just tired. Like I don't feel like putting that extra effort in. But I know I have to because it's like I'm the spokesperson, I'm the representative for these other people in my groups. This is the only Black woman they see in their daily lives. So I have to make that extra effort, and it's not for myself, it's for any other young Black woman that will come into this group or into this space so that they know that this type of person that looks like this is capable, and I shouldn't doubt them going forward.
I'm loving all these answers. So with the long hours that you both put in, and long hours, right? How do you incorporate self-care for yourself?
Self-care, please help with that. I am still working on that. Like, I'll be the first one to tell you that is one of my biggest struggles because I have a hard time saying no, especially when a lot of things that I do is like speaking engagements and mentorships. I'm doing this because I want to aware more people, little girls that look like me, like, hey, did you know you can be a rocket scientist, or you can be a coder, you can be this video graphics person. It's something that's a passion for me, so it's like I want to keep giving myself away, but it's like I'm pouring from an empty cup sometimes. So for me, I know a lot of people talk about self-care as like, you know, doing the exercises, meditating, you know, getting some of Jim's cupcakes or whatever you have to do. But for me, I'm learning to self-care by asking for help. So I just got a personal assistant.
Yes.
I'm asking my friends for, you know, just help me, just let me talk to you about this and see if it makes sense to you. So that's something new that I'm introducing to my self-care routine, is just asking for help, because I cannot do it all, you know.
Before you pass the mic, can you explain a little bit about how your hours work?
Oh, okay, y'all. Let's talk about this. Okay, let me talk about how much I try to give myself away. So yesterday I had an event in Delaware where I was doing a speaking engagements for a young girls program called My Sister's Keeper. I had to be at Union Station, y'all, at 8 a.m. Do the event. It was from 11 to 2 p.m. Got back to DC around 5 p.m. Then yesterday at 7 p.m. I went into work and worked a 12-hour shift. So y'all, I got off work this morning at 7 a.m. I took a quick little nap, a cute little nap, and got here. So if I look like a zombie, you know, that is why. And this is something that I do more often than I would like to admit, just sacrificing sleep just to, because I wanted to be here. I wanted to be at work to get that coin, okay? And I wanted to be at that event yesterday. So sometimes I'm just willing to sacrifice that at least for a couple days. I'm gonna get some sleep tomorrow, y'all.
What is self-care? I do not sleep. Last season, working with the Redskins, I worked 21 days straight. No sleep. This is my 9 to 5, so I'm there Monday through Friday. I have to be there the day before a game, and then on game days, if the players get there at 1 o'clock, we're there at 8 a.m. And then we're there after everybody leaves. Like, I don't know what sleep is. The past 2 weekends, I'm off Thursdays and Saturdays. I worked at all my off days. So trying to incorporate self-care is really hard. I don't get sleep, but I very much value sleep. I would prefer sleep over anything. So just trying to find time for myself. And I do still try to have a social life for the most part. I think I do. But trying to spend time with my friends, spend time with my family. Spending time with my family is definitely a big thing. Like, I would so prefer to be with my family over everything. So talking to my friends is definitely a big thing. For me, I try to talk to all my friends. If I'm having any issues, I pick up the phone, I have to vent to them, and then it's like, okay, I can go back to work now. Like, I've literally done that. I will literally walk away from work if something's going on. I call somebody, I talk about it, I go back to work with a face on, like nothing ever happened. So just definitely getting it out of my system, that's a big thing for me. If I don't get it out of my system, you're kind of going to see it on my face for the most part, but I really try not to show it. I promise, I really do. It's definitely something I'm working on, but sleep is a big thing for me. I don't sleep. It sucks. But I really try, though.
Can we get a round of applause just for them and their work ethic? Because it truly speaks volumes to what a boss really means. And both of you ladies definitely, like, if you were to look at the definition, y'all would be right next to it. Y'all would. So with the next question, what steps would you say what steps would you give to a young lady to really get where you are right now?
And that's a crazy question for me because that's something I'm trying to lay the path out for future generations of girls that look like me, because we really don't have a timeline or a template to follow right now to be a rocket scientist as a black woman. So for me, of course, it's taking the classes, going to the right schools and internships, but it's also stepping out on faith and taking a risk, because in this field you're going to be such a unicorn and such like a just special person. It's just kind of taking a risk and on yourself and believing in that you can do this.
I would say in the sports world, networking is really big. If you do not network, you will not get a job. You can have all the experience in the world, but it's really, really hard to get into my field without networking, without talking to the right people. So networking is definitely huge. So I definitely try to express that on a lot of young women. For example, when I was working for the Redskins, my friend Janae wanted a job there. She had just got out of college. I said, send me your resume. I sent it over to my boss. She got a job 2 months after me. After that, another young woman hit me up. She wanted a job. I sent over her resume. She got it. If I was not there, they probably would not have gotten these jobs. And they're all black women. So I've gone. They're still there. But networking is a really, really big thing. I try to network with as many people as possible, especially in this area. We have a lot of athletes that come out of this area that people know about, but it's like, oh wow, like we have over 10 people in the NBA right now, over people in the WNBA overseas. I try to talk to those people as much as possible. They could not be my friends, but if I'm having conversation with them, if they're having an event, oh, do you need help with your event? I'll hit you up. I do events on the side as well. And if you need help with that, call me. I'm on the next plane smoking. I will gladly come help you. So you definitely need to network. Of course, like Tiffany said, taking the right classes, that's definitely a big thing. But if you don't network with the right people, it's not gonna happen in this industry. If I did not network with people, I would not be where I am today. Granted, my current job, I kind of got out on a limb. I didn't know anybody. But when I actually walked in the room and I saw certain people, and I'm throwing out people's names in my interview, if I didn't throw out those people's names, I probably wouldn't. Nah, I would have got my job. But throwing out those names, they're looking at me like, oh wow, she really knows these people. Like knows them. This is I have a lot of family, so this is my cousin. I work for this person, that thing. So networking is really, really big for young women.
So if there's anybody in the room that was looking to get into either of their career fields, I say y'all take this networking time to exchange information. This is a perfect environment for that, as they were both just speaking on. So I know you spoke a little bit about the importance of internships. Would you say the internships that you both had basically played a role into where you are working now, or made the connections with where you were working? How important is internships? And really, when should you start, or is it ever too late to get an internship?
So internships played a major role in my career path. I think they're very important, and it's never too early to get started. Just like Ayana said, like the networking aspect is huge, but it's also like you're kind of interviewing the job, if the job works for you. So don't think about, okay, you're just trying to get in the company, but the company needs to buy off from your standards as well, you know. So it's a chance that you kind of like speed date a company or a position or a group for a couple months to figure out if you're really passionate about it. Can you do those hours? Do you like those people in those groups? So I really push all my mentees and all the people I talk to do those internships, because you not only get that experience, but you get that little insight to see if that's really something that you want to do with your life.
I'll definitely have to agree with Tiffany on that one. Interning is really big because you have to keep in mind, especially you're putting in a lot of hours. Your work can definitely go home with you. I'm sure everybody can attest to that one. Your work is going to go home with you. So interning, especially in sports, there's a lot of different aspects. I'm currently in sports sales, but there's sales, there's marketing, there's operations, there's player marketing. There's so many different avenues of sports. So I did, in my 4 years of college, I think I did it one intern every year almost, in different aspects of different departments, because I wanted to see what exactly it was that I was, one, really, really good at, but also what I liked the most, because that is gonna play a huge role. So interning is definitely big. I've definitely tried to express that to my mentee at Bowie State. She's a football manager, and she doesn't have time for interning. And I'm like, you have to find time. You have to, and she doesn't understand. It's gonna be a lot of work. There's going to be a lot of overtime that you have to put in. So interning is definitely, it's just getting your feet wet and seeing what exactly works for you.
I can definitely just say with just internships in general, being a business owner, I offer that a lot. As Ebony came out and introduced herself, just as much as she has learned from me, I've learned a lot from her. And Bowie State has definitely, sheds tear, Bowie State has definitely given me a lot of people. Just to talk about a full circle moment, Carlene, who is here, I'm not sure where she is right now, but she is, now I'm currently one of her first clients for her PR firm. About 3-4 years ago, she started off as my first intern for the Joy of Styling, and literally a full circle moment that I'm her first client when she was talking about her business when she was interning with me, and now she's here for one of my major events as my PR firm, and like that just speaks a lot just for how important internships are. You never really know who you can meet, what connections can come out of it, and what dreams you really have that will come through that experience. So the next question basically would be, it's a little bit of a tough one, but being a woman in your career field, do you feel you have to fight for equal pay? And if so, how did you handle it?
That is very rough. So, in engineering, women make 52 cents for every dollar that a white man makes. And that's a lot of coins that are missing, okay? So, and it's not transparent at all. You can't just walk around and say, Todd, what is your salary, you know? How about that game? So, it's very difficult because we're not taught to have those conversations. It's a very taboo topic. So for me, it's about educating myself on how to negotiate salaries, how to bring it up in conversations with my manager, how to ask for different incentives, whether if it isn't my salary, is it a bonus, or is it a raise, or is it more overtime opportunities. So it's just trying to learn to get more comfortable with it. I think about it as learning a different language like Spanish, or learning Russian. Is of course you're not going to be comfortable or as fluent when you first start off, but it's just putting yourself out there. And the worst thing that can happen is someone says no. But if you never ask the question, you leave so much money on the table. And I actually had a HR recruiter at my company tell me that at least for my company, that people leave at least $5,000 on the table every time they sign an offer if they don't negotiate. Because the amount of money that they have spent on the HR team putting the resume and going through and interviewing everyone and screening people, putting the offer out, they already spent that money that they cannot get back. So if they came up with the offer letter for you, they have that extra $5,000 to already give you, and you just leave it on the table by not believing in yourself or risking it for yourself to just ask the question.
It's a funny story with my current job I had. It was me and a guy that I worked with at the Redskins as well. We both got offered the same position because they were hiring multiple people for the position. And I don't know why he decided to have this conversation with me and offer up how much he was getting offered. And I had just gotten off the phone with him as well, and I actually got offered less than he was, and he's a white male. And it's funny. I called my mom and I called my friend Ryan, and I was like, I don't know how to approach this, because the lady called me. She was like, yeah, we're gonna offer you this, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was very, very nervous because this was the first time that I had ever actually had to counter offer somebody. I didn't know how to approach the situation, how to talk about it. So they were like, what are you scared for? Like, if you ask for that extra money, like Tiff said, the worst that they can say is no. If they tell me no, okay, cool, then we'll go for it that way. But I called back and I was like, hey, with everything going on, blah, 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 I would prefer this this salary. And she called me back 5 minutes later and said, okay, cool, that works. So, do not be afraid to ask for extra money. They have it, it's there. They're companies, they're billion-dollar companies, especially in the areas that we work in. Do not be afraid to ask for that extra money. At the Redskins, I was overworking, I was underpaid, and I wasn't having it anymore. I had to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, so I had to ask for that extra money, and they told me yes, I got it. So,
Come on, Ayana. So, the last question that I will ask is, what is your proudest moment so far in your career? So many.
Gosh, I don't know. You want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Yeah, thanks.
I have two for the most part. The first one is definitely leaving the NFL. Shocking, right? It's definitely shocking. But the NFL is not what everybody thinks that it is. I won't speak on that, but it's definitely, like I said before, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I was very, very comfortable at my current workspace. I was like, okay, I'm working for the NFL. Like, it's billions of dollars coming into this company. Like, there's never not gonna be people working here. And leaving there was probably the best decision, just because I had to, one, for my sanity, and two, to know that I was more than the position that I was in. And in my current position, I'm taking on a lot more responsibility, a lot more. I have so many different things on my plate. At the Redskins, it was easy for me. And so, like I said, I had to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that leaving there, shockingly, is probably one of my proudest moments. And then the second one, me and my cousin oversees a football program, Team Flex. We do a 7-on-7 every year. We started, this is our 5th year, we do it every April. This year was our 5th year. We went from having about 10 teams this year, we went up to 100 teams from all up and down the East Coast. And they're putting these people in hotels. We gotta figure out what hotels they're going to. I didn't sleep for a week. I'm literally handwriting a schedule from starting at 8 a.m. The last game is gonna start at 10 p.m. And just seeing the looks on those boys' faces, like, they work hard for this all year round on their high school teams. They spend all this money on their workouts, and to go out there and to see them smile and enjoy themselves on the field, like, that was probably one of my biggest accomplishments this year. Like, to go from 10 teams to 100 teams in just 5 years, and we're very small. We're only at 2 facilities at the moment, so it was really big.
That's amazing.
So for me, I'm still trying to figure it out. Yes, I can talk about one that happened recently this year. So I had the amazing opportunity to be honored at this past Black Girls Rock ceremony, and I got an award for Girl Rock Tech, which is given to a woman that embodies the STEM and technology field, but also serves their community. So that was important for me because, yes, it feels good to be recognized for what I do in my field, but also to be recognized for the stuff I do in the community. Like, it made everything that I'm doing right now worth it, like staying up and getting to these events and making sure I still go to work and perform at the highest level. So that was important for me, and I was styled by yours truly. Yes, and it was bomb, yes. And then I think my second one would just be, y'all know I love President Obama, yeah. So just being recognized and, talked about by President Obama candidly, like, I when I found out that he posted the recent tweet about me for the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11 and man getting to the moon, like, I was in my bed, I had my bonnet on, it was a Sunday, I was trying to figure out, if I was gonna go to brunch or just continue to be anti, and I was just chilling. So just to see that, someone that I care about and that someone that's done so much for the country actually cares about Black women in the STEM field, and so much so that he wants to promote it candidly himself, means the absolute world to me, yeah.
This is so amazing. Well, really quickly, so since everyone has pretty much learned so much about your life in these 30 minutes, if you guys can go ahead and just drop where they can follow you at and keep up to date with everything.
So on Instagram, I'm Tiffany_N_Davis. So that N is as in Nancy. My website is Tiffany M. Davis, and you can find out more about my mentorship program, speaking engagements. I also want to plug the scholarship fund I just started. So I'm trying to send a couple girls to space camp in Alabama so we can have a whole bunch of rocket scientists to run around. So if you're interested in seeing more Black rocket scientists, feel free to shout out that scholarship and donate.
Yeah, applause. You guys can find me on Instagram at what up y'all. Yeah, I know, right? I do not I'm sorry y'all. I do not post the things that I do, and I'm really, really working on that because people want to be like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Like, what events are you doing? So I'm trying to post more on that. You can always look up Ayana Walker, like Facebook. I think the Redskins don't have my information up, which is kind of weird, but that's neither here nor there. So you guys can always find me on there. Just, ask me what's going on. I'm definitely going to start to post more of the sporting events that we have going on. As you guys can always find me at the St. James. It's an awesome facility, so definitely come out there.
Can we get a round of applause for this amazing panel? So we will be back shortly with our next panel. So this
I feel when we're together.